I welcome everyone to day 2 of the C Bootcamp, organized by the Creators Garage with the motto of Team Together Everyone Achieves More. Our bootcamp was recently mentioned in the school times, and today also we are determined to make this event even more successful. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker today, Mr. Arup. He's a student, teacher, tech enthusiast, ambassador, and a creative thinker with an innovative mindset. He has command in various programming and scripting languages. Today we are going to cover control statements and operators. We will be taking up questions in the last 10 minutes of the session. You are advised to share full screen to ensure the smooth flow of the session. You are requested to fill the feedback form and attempt the quiz in order to receive completion certificate. You all will be provided with the notes and the study material at the end of the session. Please read the rules and regulations mentioned in the chat box. You are requested to maintain the decorum. If any kind of wrong behavior will be found, the person committing it will be no longer part of the boot camp. Sir, please take over and teach us. Happy learning, everyone.
Thank you, Alaika, for the introduction, and thank you, Creators Garage, for the opportunity. So I'll start with the presentation itself. Okay, just let me know, am I audible enough? Is there any issue on the audio section?
Yes, sir, it's visible and you're audible.
Okay, so just give me 1 second. Okay. So actually, I have a little network issue due to the weather conditions, so I'll just keep my camera on. Does that work fine, team?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so today is the second day of the boot camp being organized by the Creators Garage, and we'll be talking about few topics, operators and control statements. So the very important part which comes to programming any language is how do you operate and control your code, right? So it's just like you're driving a car and you should know how to control the car, right? And for that you start learning driving from a driving school. Similarly, you should know before learning programming or coding any kind of language, you must know how to control and operate those things, right, in a code. So we need to learn the operators and the control statement for the same, and I hope the session would be useful enough to understand how they work and what is the importance, right? So we'll move to the operators first, and then we'll move to the control statements. Okay, so we have around 8 operators that are there in C particularly. There may be less than this also in certain documentation if you go through, but I have a little bit verified it, diversified it, so that it's easier for you to understand each and the every operator individually. So we'll start with the arithmetic operator first. So as the name suggests, the arithmetic operator is simply the one that does the simple arithmetic mathematical operations, right? So that's what is arithmetic operator. Now the question is, I'm saying operators each and every time, but what is an operator, right? I said that it's very important to understand operators, but we must understand what is an operator first thing. So any kind of symbol that you are using that helps in performing operation of a mathematical or logical uh, nature is actually an operator, right? So anything that can help you in uh, operating the mathematical conditions is an operator, and how and on what you're going to operate, that is an operand, right? So operators and operands, these are the two terms. Operator is the one that is going to be used on the operands to get a mathematical result, right? That's what is operators and operands. Okay, so in arithmetic operators, we have the first, that is the addition operator. Okay, I'll be taking the uh, code for that. Okay, we'll keep the session interactive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain the definitions over there and then come back here and then try to execute the codes, right? And you guys have to guess the answer before I run the code. So If anyone would like to volunteer and let me know what would be the result of this code, anyone from the audience. It's a very simple program.
It should be 12.
Okay, it should be
Should be
12.
12.
Okay, 12. Any other answer, guys? 12. Any other answer? There's something. Okay, I'll
Well,
give a hint. There is something missing in the code. I know you have added
So
10 plus 2.
there
sir,
should be, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, comma
There
to
should be
separate.
some colon before C.
There should be some colon before C. You mean here?
No, no, no.
no,
In
no.
the A
That's
is
a
equal to
comma to
10, B is
Where you
separate.
have
Sir, there
written
will be
colon
comma
before
before
C.
C.
There should be comma
One
before
comma is
C.
missing before C.
Okay, there should be a comma before C. Okay, let's put a comma over here. Is that fine?
into
Yes,
C.
sir.
Yes, sir. Now it's right.
Okay. Obviously, the code editor will tell that there is an error or not. That's a good error. Get good guessing and help. Okay, let's run it. Let's restart this. Okay, we got the value 12. So that's correct. So why I wanted to talk about this, I know everybody can easily add and tell that it's easy, but it's very important that you do not make such kind of mistake, because this is a small code. Once you go with longer code, such kind of mistakes will happen. So I'm trying to get to those minimalistic points that we usually miss while coding, and we think, okay, this is not very important, but those are the things that actually end up at the last. We figure out, okay, that was such a small mistake that we did, and could have been done it a little bit faster, right? So that's the point here. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, subtraction. So I'll not discuss all of them because we have a limited time slot and I have a lot to cover. So the same operation would go on with the subtraction arithmetic operator. Same applies for the multiplication, division, and modulus. Now with the modulus and division, usually I see a lot of students or people get confused that they either interchange the meaning of both the things. So here, if we see uh, do I have an highlighter? Okay. Okay, let's do it like that. Okay. So when it comes to division, you're simply dividing the number by the numerator by the denominator and you're getting a result. But when you're using modulus, right, you're just getting the value of the remainder after dividing the numerator from the denominator. So that should not be the point of confusion when you're working, and the symbol should be very much clear when you're using it. That's the easiest thing here you have to remember is a percentage symbol is a modulus and a simple slash is a division symbol. That's all. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay. Okay, the increment and decrement operator. So and now we saw the addition operator, which looks somewhat like that only, but here another addition operator is being on the right of the another addition operator. So there are two plus signs. Now, when we say a plus plus equal to 11, what does it mean? Anyone from the audience?
Say if the A is 10.
A is, sorry,
10. 10.
A is 10. Okay, that is correct. Anybody else with any other answer? What does it mean?
Sir, it calculate a plus 1.
Okay, A plus 1. Okay. Anyone else?
So first it will add, then so the result.
Okay, in what case? In what case? Like the case that I have mentioned, or the plus
In
should be on the
A
right or
plus
on the left?
In
A plus
increment
plus
plus
in an
case.
increment operator. Actually, in it is a kind of post in this kind of operator, increment operator. It will firstly use the initial value of 10 and then it will increment it to 11.
Okay. So
Sir,
I
may I?
think, yeah, please.
Sir, I am not very much sure, but in case of plus plus A, the value will be same. That means if we have defined the value of A, that is 10, then it will increase the memory in the memory, that will be 11. But the first statement which will get executed will get according to the value of 10. And in the next statement, I guess it will get on to the value of 11. That is the case of pre-increment.
Okay, okay. So we'll take all everyone's case and let's test it and see what is the result in both the cases when we put plus in front of the a and when we put pluses on the after the a, right? So one is prefix, one is suffix. Let's do it and see. So I've written the code today because I saw yesterday it usually takes the speaker a little bit time to write the code and it just wastes time. So it's good that we learn more and waste less time on the code. So we'll directly use the codes. Okay, where is it? Here we go. Okay, so here we have both the cases where there is a increment operator which is used as a prefix before a and one which is after a which is suffix. So let's see what is going to be the result. And you guys have, I think, answered this. So I want again to answer you. First, we'll go with this a. What should be the value of c over here?
It should be 11.
Okay, first one is 11. How many? Anybody else with any other answer?
Sir, I guess 10.
Okay, someone are saying 10, some is saying 11. Okay, any other answer? Mostly it will be 10 or 11. Okay, let's okay, let's test and see what's coming out. Okay, so the one who said that the value of c over here, where it is a prefix, would be 10, would go a little wrong. It's going to be 11. Now let's understand why is it, right? When you say uh, the increment operator as a prefix. When I say prefix, it means it's on the left side of the operand. Operand here is a. Okay. So when I'm saying it's on the left, that means add one to the operand and then the result is assigned to the variable on the left, right? So this may be a little bit confusing while listening. So it's more better to always practice. And I'll suggest after this class also, when you get the quizzes that will be shared by the team, definitely go through them and practice, because once you hear the theory and you do not try, it's just a waste, right? So definitely try. These are simple things that I'm trying to cover that usually causes confusion, right? And it's good to ask yourself questions in this particular manner and ask, right? So usually when you're coding, when you're competitive coding or on doing coding on different sites, they won't ask such easy questions, but obviously these things will add up to complex questions. So it's very important that you practice even these smallest things. So as I said, if the plus is on the left side, which means it's a prefix, then you add value 1 to the operand and then the result is assigned to the variable on the left, right? And then the vice versa goes to the second one, right? That's how it's working. Same is the case with the subtraction, that is c equal to minus minus b, that is decrement operator b, and the same here in the suffix case. Okay, so you see the results over here. Now at the end, if you see the value of a and b comes out to be 12 and 0. Can anybody tell me why is it that? Whereas we were printing here 11, the a value was 10 and initially, b was 2, c was 0. C I can understand it's 11, 11 and 1, 1 because we did the operation. Why the values of a and b are changed? Anyone?
In the second case where we have used c is equal to a plus plus, where
Okay.
the value of a changes to 12. Firstly, it will initialize c is equal to 11, then the value of a changes to 12. That's why it's printing 12. Similarly, in the case of b, it's printing. That's why it's printing 0.
Yes, yes. So that's why the values of the A and B are changing. That's correct. What's your name?
Vasu.
Yeah, good work, Vasu. So we'll move to the next one. I hope it's clear, guys. Any doubts here?
Sir, could you please explain the concept once again?
Okay. See, when I'm saying the plus plus on the left, that is the first case. Okay, this one. Let's take this one. Right. So what is happening here? When you're saying prefix on the left, okay, just assume that there is a prefix on the left, and then what does it mean? It means that you're adding one to the operand. You're adding one. You're not assigning. You're not assigning the value. You're adding the value which is already there. In the second case, you are first assigning the value and then adding. Did you get that? The first case, you're
Yes.
not assigning. You are adding one. Okay, first.
So
The
in the,
second, yeah.
yes, sir. So in the first line, C equals plus plus A. First plus one is adding into A and then assigned, being assigned.
Yeah, yes. The second
And
one, yeah, go on, go on.
No, and in the second case, A is first assigned and then 1 is added to A.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's move to the next. Yeah. Any question? Okay. So increment and decrement operator done. Let's move to the relational operators. Okay. So when you say relational operators, the name suggests itself. You are trying to create a relation between the operators, right? So when you say relation, it means you're trying to uh, compare two quantities or operands and seeing what is the value, right? Whether the condition is true or not, whether they are do they there is there any relation between them, and is that relation true or not, right? So we'll go with the relation operators. I'm not sure if I have taken all the examples because time constraint was there from the team. So we'll go one by one. The first one is equal to. Okay, now guys, don't confuse between is equal to and uh, there is another operator that is going to come later on, which is assignment operator, which is simple equal to. Okay, a lot of us get confused usually with this equal to and equal to, single equal to, right? So double equal to and single equal to, don't confuse there. I'm going to clear the doubt what both of them mean. Okay, when you say double equal to, that means you are checking whether it is equal to, whether, let's take, if the example is there on the right, a, whether a is equal to b or not, right? In case when it's there is single equal to, that means you're assigning the value, you're not evaluating, you're not checking the relation. That is why this is a relational operator. So this is how you can remember that if there is double equal to, that means it's a relational operator. That is, we are just checking the relation, we are not assigning. Yeah, so that's how it works. The next one is equal to. That means if uh, is not equal to, so which is just the reverse of the first one, right? You are checking if a is not equal to b, right? So we know a is a different number, b is a different number. So in that case, e is not equal to b. So it's true. Similarly goes on with the greater one sign. Here you're just checking the relation whether A is greater than B or not. Same goes with the B. It's just vice versa of the previous one. And then the second last, which is greater than or equal to, right? So what my main point is, you all can easily remember these relations. This is not very difficult. What I want to remember is, don't confuse between relational operators and assignment operators. So I'll come across assignment operators and I'll discuss that again once again. So that's very important. Okay, let's go to the code part and see what's the difference. Okay, so we have assignment operator as well, and we have the relational operators as well. Okay, so we'll go with the first one, is equal to, which is the most point of confusion usually. So here, when I'm saying if A is equal to B, right? It sounds like I'm going to make A equal to B, but the operator name is like that, is equal to B, but you're not assigning. As I said again, it's just a check of relation, right? So is A equal to B? Let's check. Okay, so the value is C. Yeah, so A is not equal to B. That is why the second statement, which is else statement, is going to be executed, which is C. Obviously, I will again come back to if and else, how they work. Right now, you just need to understand if the first statement is correct, then this statement, which is just below the if, will be executed. And if it's false, then the else statement will execute. Okay. It's very simplistic things that we're discussing today. But as I said, the points are confusion points that happen in these small concepts that we need to take care of. Okay, the next is greater than equal to, the same concept. Let's check it. Okay, the value of A is 10, the value of B is 2, right? I hope you can see the terminal. It's not highlighted, but I hope you can see. I'll just
Yes, sir.
enlarge it. Yeah, just enlarge it. It's easier for you to understand what's the result. Okay, so we're just checking whether A is greater than B. So obviously 10 is no is greater than B. So the statement is this, where A and B gets printed. So A and 10, A and B are printed and C is not printed. Okay. Similarly, others are there. Okay, I'll not go into depth clearing each relational operator. I hope you understand, right? Uh, okay. You just need to check the relation. That's all. Okay. Let's move to the next one. Okay, so relational we have discussed. Let's move to the conditional operators. Okay, so the conditional operators were the main topics today, but the team requested to have operators as well because a few of the operators were not clear to a lot of people yesterday in the first session. So there were doubts. So we took operators yes this time, and the conditional operators I'll come at the end with a little brief explanation of how they're working because it's important to understand how they work. Uh, so I'll come to that on the later part. Okay, let's move to the logical operator. Okay, now as the name suggests, again you can remember with the names, guys. Well, don't don't just brag it like you're just coding, so you just brag it. Okay, uh, double equal to means that I am just comparing the values and not assigning, right? Just don't do it, just remember it with the names. I think it will be easier for you to even solve the easier quantitative based questions that are there in the interview or quality. Yeah, mostly quantitative questions usually have such kind of small questions where it involves operators or control statements. So it's very important over there. In competitive coding, obviously it will involve a lot of operators working together and giving one result. So this is where this kind of learning techniques can help you get the answer quicker than others. Obviously you can solve the problem, you can check the relation, but when you have a proper channel of learning things, you can easily and fastly solve the things. Okay, so the logical operators, when you say logical operators, as the name suggests, logic, right? So you need to check the logic when you're saying logic, right? When you say logic, what does logic mean? That uh, you have certain expressions and you want to make a conclusion out of those expressions, right? So we used to have something called gates in science when you were in like 11 12, I guess. So you used to check whether the two statements, for example A or B, which of them is correct and not. So you used to have two statements. It never used to be one statement, right? So when it comes to logical operators, you always have to remember there will be at least two expressions provided to you, two statements, where you need to check and compare the logic, right? So when it comes to logical and operator, right, the symbol is and twice. Okay, just remember the symbols, it's very important. Usually people get again confused with the simple and the double and. So when it's logical, you just use the double and. So I'm not discussing the gate table over here because it's not a gate, but the simple way to learn the entire table in one go is that you remember when it's and operator, if one of the uh, values is wrong, the entire value would go wrong. That means if one of the operator, if both the operator have are non-zero, then the condition will be true, right? Simple one statement to remember all. That is, if the operands are non-zero, right? But both of them are true values, okay, then the condition would go true, else it will go false. If one of them is even if false, then it will go false, right? For example, A is 0 and B is 1, then the condition would count to be uh, 0, right? So that's how it will work. Okay, now moving on to the or. So in or, one has to be correct. Okay, if A is 1 and B is 0, the condition will be 1. If both are 1, then obviously it will be 1, right? So one condition of the two expressions should be correct, then it will be an or operator. Then moving to the not is very simple. It's just a simple no to what exists. So you have a logic, you put not operator, it will just make the reverse of whatever the logic is, right? So that's what logical operators. Let's see the examples. Okay, we'll go with the and first, and then we'll go with the or. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm taking a number 1 and assigning a value of 2, and then three more numbers where I'm assigning the number, and then I'm checking uh, I'm using a relational operator here, you can see, and then I'm using a and operator here as well. So we'll test both the things. So any one of you can guess what is the answer going to be? Just go through the code. No hurry here. Anyone? Okay, so let's do it and see what the result is going to come. So number 4 is assigned number 1 is greater than 2 and number 1 is smaller than 3. So number 1 is 10. uh, is 10 greater than 2? Yes, 10 is greater than number 2. And so the first this left side expression is correct, so we'll move to the another part. So you remember very well, if one of the statements is correct in and, both the statements are going to be correct, right? The entire overall statement is going to be true. So if even if this is false, the answer is going to be true in this case because one of the cases is true, right? Let's see what is the case over here. So the number 3 is 5, which is 5, and number 1 is 10. So is 5 greater than 10? No, it's not. So what is the answer going to be? One has to be correct. Okay. The answer here is, let me show you the code. It's visible. We're just printing the numbers. Okay. So the value of 110 to 5 number 0. Okay. So what we're trying to do is, I think I missed something in the code. Okay, we need to check the number 4. The number 4 comes out to be 0. Okay. Okay. 10 is greater than 2, which is 10 is greater than 2. And then number 3, which is 5, which is greater than number 1, which is 10. So 5 is not greater than 10. Okay. So the value of 4 comes out to be 0. Okay, let me check. Did I make a mistake over here?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah, it went reverse, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So that's how you need to catch the error. See, this is where the point of confusion happens. So it's just the reverse. As the statement says, if both of them are going to be true, then it's actually going to be true. So no more, both of them should be non-zero. Then the value is going to be the 0, right? So the
I think
value of,
in the OR function it becomes any of the is true, then function printed in OR function or anything.
yeah, yes, that's correct. So we'll do the or once. Let's clear the doubts. Okay, now we have OR operations. Let's run this and see. Okay, the number 4 comes out to be 1. Now the condition is again the same, which we had in the uh, AND operator. Okay, so here we have and here we have 1. I think the numbers are same. Yeah, I've kept the numbers same. So here it comes out to be 1. So it's just the reverse. So here you can see that number 10 is greater than number 2, which is correct statement, and here number 3, which is 5, is greater than 10. No, it's not greater than. This value is false. So one value is false. So the entire one value is false, one is correct. So entire comes out to 1. So one of the either has to be correct in OR to get a correct value, right? Any doubts here?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So output of AND and OR operator would always be 0 or 1.
Yeah, it's a kind of Boolean.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
going to give you a Boolean type of value, either 1 or 0,
Okay.
true or false.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other doubts, guys? Because see, this is what I want to create a confusion so that you guys remember that this kind of mistakes don't happen. Because these are the simplest things that are going to come when you're going to code long code. Such things you may forget and you may mess up. Okay, so let's move. No doubts are there. Okay, logical operators are done. Okay, bitwise operators I'll not be covering because it was not the scope of today's class, because if I take bitwise operator, it itself will take around an hour, and we have some limited time. We'll also have to control, we have also control statements to cover. So I'll be focusing more on that, and this part will be covered, I think, more or less some other day by some other instructor. So we'll keep this for some other day, right? Because it involves a lot of binary operations, which we need to understand how decimal to binary operations are taking place. How do you convert by a decimal number to a binary number, and then how do you, after converting into binary format, how do you, uh, uh, do bit by bit operations of those binary numbers, right? So this is a small table. I'm just giving an overview how it works. So this is how bitwise operation does. So when you have the numbers, you will usually have a number like, for example, you have 60, right? So 60 is a decimal number. You usually convert it to a binary number, right? And once you convert binary number, you will be having something like that, right? It will be a byte. So one byte is 8 bit. So you have 8-bit number, and then you will be doing the operations, just the same one that we have done, and, or, and not. Like here we have XOR. So these are going to be the operations, and other than there will be some other operators as well in the bitwise operators. So we'll cover this sometime else, because as I said, it will take a lot of time to this, and we don't want to rush things and just cover things. Okay, let's move to the assignment operator. This is what I was saying. Again, a point of confusion comes when we take relational operator and assignment operator. So because I hope you guys are clear with the relational operator. I just need to check the relation. Here you are assigning certain value, right? As the name says, assignment operator means you're assigning a value to a variable or an operand or any kind of function, a return function value that you're getting from a return from a function, right? So the first one is simple. You're assigning the value of A and B added together to C, right? So that's what the value of the meaning of operator, simple operator means. Then we go to the and, add and operator, right? The names are quite uh, weird kind of name, add and operators, right? So what you're using in add and operators is simply when you say C plus, you are actually using operator and assignment operators to actually reduce your effort to write a huge equation, right? If I write C equal to C plus A, you're doing a lot of operation in that case. When you're writing C plus equal to A, it's just meaning the same thing, right? So you're reducing your effort, because in small codes it doesn't matter. When you're writing big codes, it will matter, right? So that's why we'll be using assignment operator to reduce the efforts and obviously assign values. Okay, I'll take the codes directly. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we have an integer A which is 21 and an integer C, right? Two integers. The first one is I'm simply assigning a value of A to C. So simply what will happen is C will take the value of 21. So C will be 21, right? Here what we are doing, C plus equal to A. So what does that mean? C uh, C plus A is going to give you a value into the C, right? So uh, what we have is, right, I'll show you once again over here, right? This is what it means. I was saying C plus equal to A is C plus A will give the value to the C, right? So what will be the value over here, guys?
42.
Sorry,
22.
22. Okay, anyone else?
42.
42.
42.
42. Okay, anybody else?
42.
Okay, so let's see what is the
42.
correct answer. Okay, so the answer for the second one we were running is 42. Okay, so you are actually getting the value here 21, which was stored in C, and then the C value will be added again with A, which is 21, which becomes 24. Just one second. Okay, so it becomes 42. So those who are saying 21, is there any confusion, guys, or is it clear? Right? So what we did is, you must be confused that the C was 0 and A was 21. So 0 plus 21 should be 21, right? This is how you did, and it came out 21. But it's not 21 because I'm running the code in loop. So you assigned the value C, which is 21 here. So here 21, C is already assigned 21, right? So 21 plus A, which is 21, is going to give 42, right? This is how it works. Similarly, it goes on down. And here again, because C was 42, you subtract 21 and you get 21, right? So this goes on like this. Yeah, any confusions over here? Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I have a doubt.
Hmm.
So C, if I write C equal to plus A, then
Okay.
like it will be like C plus A equals A.
Sorry, repeat once again. C.
If I write C equal to, if I put the
Okay,
addition
let's do
operator
it. Let's
after
do
the
it.
equal to,
C equal
equal to
to
plus A.
plus A.
Yes, sir. So then what will happen?
Okay. So let me put. So let's see what comes out the value. Okay, the value of C over here is the line number 11 is 2. Okay, so
Yes.
let's see what comes out. Let's print this. Okay, the value came out 21, right? Now, why 21 came out? Because you had the value here 2, right? And you had the value over A. What's the last value of A? Let's check. So we're not doing anything to A. So A is 21. A is 21 and C is 2, right? So C is, you are first you're putting A. This is just the reverse of this, right? C.
Yes,
You
sir.
are doing reverse, right? Here you are doing C plus equal to A. Here you're doing C equal to plus A, right? Just the reverse, plus and add. So first I what I did is, instead of adding, I equated it and then added it, right?
Yes.
So what happened to the value of C is that you had A, which is 21, and you directly, because you assigned the value and then added. So there's nothing to add, right? See,
No, sir,
here
2
what is,
plus 21 होना चाहिए.
Yes, sir. Why?
हाँ 2 + 21 होना चाहिए ना, लेकिन आपने देखो वही मैं बता रहा हूँ, यहाँ पे फर्स्ट यू आर एडिंग एंड देन इक्वेटिंग, हियर यू आर फर्स्ट इक्वेटिंग एंड देन एडिंग. तो ऐड करने के लिए कुछ है ही नहीं, बिकॉज सी के अंदर तो कुछ है ही नहीं ना अभी. यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट आई एम सेइंग?
Sir, we can rewrite C equal to plus A as A equal to A plus C, right?
Wait, repeat once again.
We can rewrite this sentence at line 42 as A equal to A plus C.
A equal to A
A plus,
plus,
like,
yeah, this is what you're saying.
yes. So A's value is 21. So
Yeah.
21 equals 21 plus 2. तो मतलब 21 plus 2 होना चाहिए ना.
हाँ, लेकिन आप ऐसा नहीं कर रहे हो ना, आप असाइन अभी सी के अंदर कोई वैल्यू डाल नहीं रहे हो, ठीक है? क्योंकि देखो ये जो वैल्यू है ये रिवर्स होती है. अगर मैं यहाँ पे लूँ तो ये रिवर्स है, दिस इज द रिवर्स ऑफ दिस. वैसे होना चाहिए, बट आप यहाँ पे सी जब फर्स्ट केस में ले रहे हो, वहाँ सी इज सी प्लस ए, नॉट ए इक्वल टू ए प्लस सी.
Yes, sir.
दैट इज, इट्स नॉट टेकिंग एनीथिंग इनटू सी,
Hmm.
right? So I think this is something that you guys should once, try it on your terminal, because here I'll have time constraint to explain exactly what's happening inside, but this is just what I'm saying, key, it's the reverse process. So you're not assigned any value in the uh, C here, right? That is
Yes.
why it's happening like that.
Hmm.
Okay, so okay,
Yes.
let's move. Still, if you have confusion, guys, we have the group. I am in the group. You can text me if still this is not clear. Okay, I'll take some other examples because time constraints are there. So I have to move. Otherwise, other things will be missed, right? So
Sure,
you
sir.
can
No
text.
problem.
You can surely text. No issues. This is not a very difficult thing that we cannot tackle. Just the topics have to be covered. So I'm trying to do it.
Yes.
Sir, may I?
Yes, sir.
I
Yeah,
will take
yeah,
only 1 second. Sir,
yeah.
is it something related to the concept of pre-increment, which will increase the value only in the memory and it will not show in the output?
This is something I think
Plus A.
debatable. Yeah, this is something that's debatable. We need to check whether it's really this is something that's happening or not, because I cannot surely say something that I'm not confirm of, right? But I'll surely check on this if it's really exists or not. Okay, you can DM me on
Okay, sir.
the group. Yeah, I'll check.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, good points. Okay, So similarly, these are the other assignment operators that exist. Okay, and these will and don't worry guys, this code will be shared with you, all the code and documents, so you can keep checking on your side as well. And if there is any doubt, I'm in the group, you can DM me. I'll be back with the solution. Okay, so special characters, special operators will be covered again in the next class, because it's just an overview of operators. So you see pointers are there, right? So pointers are going to come on day 5. So you have to wait till day 5. We want to go step by step so that we don't skip anything before that. Okay. Okay, now we are onto conditional operators that I said will come, and we'll talk in a little brief. Okay, so what is happening in conditional operators, right? Okay, let's move to the code part. So you'll have something like this, an expression where you have first three different expressions: expression 1, expression 2, expression 3, right? And then there will be a variable to which you will be evaluating the value of this variable will be evaluated on the basis of these expressions, right? And how they will happen, let's see. So it's just like an if else kind of statement. So in if else, what happens if the first condition which is inside f is correct, then the statement which is inside the if loop gets executed. Else, the statement which is inside the else loop get executed. So for example, this is the, you can just assume it as if it's an if statement. This part, expression 1 question mark expression 2 is an if statement, and expression 3 is an else part. So for example, if expression 1 is correct, expression 2 will execute, and the value of execution expression 2 would be carried to the variable here, right? If the expression 1, that means if the if statement, right, is wrong, then the else statement, which is expression 3, will be executed. So the value which is there in the expression 3 will be the value of variable, right? So a simple way to remember, you don't need to remember separately what is a conditional operator and what it does. It's simply like an if else, right? If you know what how an if else work, you will be easily able to work with conditional operators. And this is kind of thing that is useful because at times you don't want to type a lot of if else statement, you just want to execute it in one line. So this is something very useful over there. Okay, let's move to the code part again. Okay. Okay, so as I said, we have B. I have two variables that are assigned a value of, one is assigned with the value of 5, one is not assigned with any value. So the B will come out on the basis of this if else. Okay, I'm not calling it conditional operators because I want that you guys can remember it in a more easier way, right? Instead of just making it bulkier, long term things. Okay, so what will be the value of this? Anyone? This is the easiest one, I think, the most easiest operator in the entire section.
So 3, sir.
Okay, 3. Anybody else?
3, sir.
Anyone with 2?
No, sir, it will not be 2.
Okay, so it's clear, I think, to the audience what is going to come. So it's going to be 3. So it's very simple. Obviously, as I said, the first statement, which is the if statement, you have to see this. If, see, as I said again, this operator here is, can you say, can anybody name me what this operator is? This
Is equal to.
Is equal to.
No, the name I'm asking of the operator.
Conditional operator.
Condition? No, it's not. No, it's not a conditional operator.
Relational operator.
Relational operator.
Yes, it's a relational operator, right? See, that's where we make small mistakes. When you say conditional operators, this entire thing will be conditional operators, which includes question mark, which includes colon, right? That is conditional operators. That is a part of conditional operators as a whole, right? If even if one of them is missing, you cannot call it as a conditional operator, right? So these are the small things that I want to configure, guys. These are not very difficult topics that we cannot figure out, but it's again the same thing, the small mistakes that we make, right? So I think the output is clear to everybody. The first is if A is 5, then the first statement will execute, which is 3. So the value of B would be 3. If it's not 5, then the value of 2 will happen. So if I change the value of 5 to 6 and then check that the value should come out to be 2, right? So the value came out 2 because, as I said, if else statement. First if statement is wrong, else will be executed. So else is executed. Okay. Any doubts here, guys? Okay. I'll not run a lot because we have to cover a little bit long. This is what I explained. Okay, now we come to control statement. Now this is the driving school of the C language car, right? How do you control different things in a car? You see, you have a steering wheel, you have a gear, you have accelerator, you have a brake through which you control your car, right? So how do you control your program in C language, right? So there is two things, something called control statements and something called control structure. Now don't confuse with the names. Control structure is not something that is there in the code. Control structure is a theoretical topic. Control structure has these four divisions, right? Sequential, selection, repetition, and jump statements. So these statements, right? The selection, repetition, these if, switch, conditional operators, while, do, while, for, break, go to, continue, return. These are all controls control statements, right? These are the statements that will control the flow of the C language, right? So the control structure is entire system, how the structure is going to look. Control statements are those that are driving the structure. Yeah. So this is the difference between control structure versus control statement. Any confusion over here? Because it's a theoretical topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, so sequential means from top to bottom. It will read from top to bottom.
Yes. Sequential. Yeah, I'm coming to
Similar
that
to
part.
C++.
Yeah, see, sequential means, as the name suggests, and as you said, from top to bottom. So in sequential, what happens is that you have a structure, right? The first structure, the second structure, like the first part of the code, right, where you have some operations or actions going on, and each action has to be executed before the another action is getting implemented. For example, let's assume I have an input, then I have some process, then I have some output, right? So this is how the sequential structure will work. It has to go one after one. It cannot be like the first statement got executed and the second is getting executed. Like for example, we had if else statement, just which we discussed. So in that case, if is not correct, then it runs else. It doesn't stop, right? But in sequential, you have a structure. First has to execute, then the second will execute, right? So you have an input, then you have a process, and then you have an output. So that's what sequential is. Okay. Now next is, does it answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now the next is selection or the decision control structure. Okay, sorry, statements. See, this is how mismatch of keywords happen. So that's why I keep repeating structure and statements, not to confuse. Structures are just a theoretical topic. Statements are actual one that are going to use in the code. Okay, so we have three type of you can say decision or selection statements: if, switch, and conditional operators, which we already have. A conditional operator statement, it's like that. Okay, so a statement that is using a conditional operator, right? So the last time somebody said that when I was asking what is that is equal to sign, so somebody said it's conditional operator. So that entire statement is a conditional operator statement, right? So that's how you call it. Okay, so now we will be discussing the if part because today's time is, I think, almost about to get over. We have to take Q&A also. So the while, do while, for, break, go to, continue, and return, which is jump statement and repetition, is going to come up in the next lecture, which is tomorrow. So there you will see the examples along with the explanation. I'm just giving an overview. So the repetition is very easy, where you have something to repeat. Okay, that's where you use repetition statement. Jump statement. Okay, so jump statement is something that a lot of people think is not part of flow structure or control structure of C, right? So you see, right after the session is over, what you do is you have Visual Studio Code at your home or any kind of editor that you're using on your system. Just try to use return statement, the simplest one, return, right? Without using return statement, does your C code run or not? And in which case it doesn't run. Okay, so you come to know what is the meaning of return. Okay, when you say return 0, return 1, what does that mean? And there is something called getcha, get getch, getcha. So that's also something similar to return, but there is a slight difference. So these are certain questions that even may come up in an interview. What is the difference between getcha and return statement, right? and how and where they can be used, right? So such things you need to actually do it on your end to understand. You need to give a little bit of time to understand, because these are theoretical topic. The result is very easier to understand. This the thing is you need to practice, right? Okay, next move to the uses that I've already told you. What is the use of each statement? Okay, let's cover if statement. Okay, which I told in the beginning. So if statement is like, you can understand, you're making a decision, right? You have an expression and you want to make a decision that whether I need to execute this or should I execute something else if this is not correct. So you just check if the first condition is true. If the first condition is true, right, then you execute the statement which is just below the first condition, and if it's not, then you execute the next, right? Now this can be in different forms: if statement, if else statement, if nested, nested if, else if, ladder statements, right? There are various ways to check or make a decision using if, right? So these are the varieties. So let's see the code directly, not into much into theoretical things. Okay, where do we have control statements? Okay, let's start with if. So I will again ask the audience, any one of you, to volunteer and let me know what is the answer. Okay, so I'll just start. Just be with me and try to solve it together, right? So what we're doing is we're using a number which is assigned a value of 0, and then I'm taking an input from the user that you type a number, okay, using print and scanf, which is I think covered yesterday. So I hope there's no confusion over there. Then I'm using a statement, an expression inside if, which is number. I'll not say what is the name of this operator. 2 is equal to 0. Now I want one of you to explain what is the meaning of this operator.
सर रिमाइंडर
Yes, sir.
लाइक अगर नंबर हमारा 2 है तो हम 2 से डिवाइड करेंगे, तो अगर रिमाइंडर 0 होगा तो इवन नंबर है। बस यही है, एल्स का तो है ही नहीं इसमें।
Okay, anyone else with some other kind of concept? No, I think something
Sir,
else can happen.
it's a modulation operator.
Yeah, it's a modulus operator, right? Anyone else? Okay. Okay, let's run and see what's the result going to come out, right? Because we are just dividing and checking if the remainder is 0, it will print it's an even number, else it'll just stop the code, right? Because I'm not given any else statement. Return 0 means it'll stop the main function. Okay, so let's type a number. Let's see, 6. 6 is an even, okay. 6 is an even number. Okay, 6 is an even number. So very simple things, not very difficult. Just thing is that you need to not confuse between the operator. If I change this is equal to equal to, let's see what happens, right? You see there is already an error that's coming up. Because can anybody tell me why is there an error over here?
सर सिंगल जीरो सिंगल इक्वल टू मीन्स कि वो हमने असाइन कर दिया 0 के इक्वल उसको, और डबल में हम चेक कर रहे हैं कि वो 0 इक्वल है या नहीं।
Okay, so
Sir, I
that's
think
that.
it's a variable declaration mistake.
Yes, it's a variable declaration mistake, right? So what we are doing is simply we said that you divide and you give the remainder, and we are itself assigning it the value. So how will it give a value, right? Because you are doing an operation, and operation will give you some result, and you already declared the result. So there is already a declaration fault over there. So the error would come. Okay, so that's why the error would come. And let's move to the next part. Okay, we've done with if. Let's go with if else. So the difference is as simple. We have already discussed if else before also with the conditional operators. The same, if this is wrong, the statement will execute. Okay, and would move on to the else statement. Okay, let's make some changes. For example, if I say if statement is wrong, and I don't give anything inside else statement, or if I give something in the inside else statement which is also wrong, so what will happen? If I give a condition over here and if I write something which is wrong over here, right, some declaration error, so what will happen?
Sir, it will return to the main function
Nothing will print.
Okay,
and it is 0.
anyone else?
Sir, maybe any garbage value.
Any
Like,
garbage value may come up. Okay. Anyone else?
So the code will keep running without any output.
Okay, so it's like an infinite loop which is running
Yes.
but not giving an error.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we can do is, it would be a simple thing, right? Even if I put something here inside print and I declare it as wrong, right? So what it will give is simple declaration error, right? Because you assigned an if value, and what an if statement does, if else statement, as I said, there will be two expression. If the first statement is not correct, it will move to the else statement, right? And even if the else statement is wrong, right, it either can be wrong due to what reasons, right? We need to learn how to decode errors, right? How to debug errors. That's what is important while learning a language, because that's what we are going to face when we will be actually coding in big and complex code, right? So when I will be writing something wrong over there, it will simply show a simple error that's a declaration error, because in else statement, even if you write wrong, uh, the possibility of giving an input is almost null, because else statement has to be correct, right? The condition of is if else statement is that the first statement has to, if it's not correct, the second statement has to be correct. So if it's not correct, then it's a declaration error, right? Yeah. Do you think there is something else that I can add on to this, or is it okay?
It is okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this why I'm doing this thing is just to make you a little bit, try to figure out how to question the system. Okay, how to learn. I know you can go to Google and learn things. The C programming is already there. It's not something new. We want to make you explain is that you try to understand how to see the errors, even if there are not errors, so that you're ready for errors when they actually come up, right? Okay. So nested if is there. And now what will happen in nested if? Anyone from audience? Obviously,
Sir,
I'll
if
explain.
the first for if loop is true, then only the next second if will be function will be executed.
Okay, so if this is correct, only then this will be
Yes,
executed, right?
yes, sir.
How many of you are like, no, this is not correct, or there is some other explanation also to this? How many of you think that if this is wrong, then this will move to this? Right? This can also be this way, right? We can think in this way also, that, for example, if statement is wrong, then it will move to this. Why can't it be like that? Right? It doesn't sound like that. Yeah. Anybody wants to say anything? Okay. So the point was simply to confuse that if you go to some reference, well, I was doing a study to prepare the documentation before, sometime before. So I saw in some sites, what they do. Uh, they wrote this statement and they said if this is wrong, then this will get executed. Okay, and if this is wrong, then this would get executed. So there was some structural mistake in the site which was there, but it should not be like that. If this is correct, then this would run. Else, if this is not correct, this else statement will run, right? Let's do it. Okay, so what I'm doing is I have assigned value x20 and y30. So the first statement is correct, it's 20, right? And then the second statement is also correct. So this should print, right? So x is 20 and y is 30. Let's make it a little changed. Let's take this as also 30. Now, which statement do you think will get executed?
Else.
Which else? This else or
Last
this
one.
else? Last one. Okay.
Where x is not equals to 20.
X is not 20. Okay. So easy one, right? What we can play around with this is just we can change the values. Let's take x20 and y20. In this case, what will happen? This will be played because this is correct, but this is wrong. So else is printed, right? So simple thing, guys. Not very complicated stuff so far. I don't think anything else is left. Let's check. Yeah. So this is just the explanation part that I explained. Yeah. Nested if else, and if statement, right? So you get the documentation. I put the correct flow diagram for nested if. On certain sites it was wrong as well, I saw. So please always verify that whichever site you're using it's correct. At least use 2 to 3 sites to refer. Okay, so if you have any questions, I'll take now.
Sir, hello.
Yeah, Sneh.
Yeah, so the PPT will be shared with us, right?
Yeah, sure. The PPT will be shared. You will get PPT, I think some resources as well, and I think some questions as well to
Yeah,
practice.
link for the quiz.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Okay.
quiz, no. Other than quiz, also you'll get some questions. Don't worry.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other doubt, guys?
If anyone has any kind of question, please ask. Raise your hands. And
Sir,
please
are
show
we
you
going to
are
cover?
requested.
Yes.
Yes, you may.
Sir, are we going to cover the basic concepts of C or data structures as well?
See, we want to cover data structure, but the thing is that it will be too long. We already have 11 days for C itself. So data structure will come up very soon. We'll inform you. You can stay in the group. Okay. The team will inform you regarding the data structures as well. We'll cover that as well, but
Okay, sir.
not in this
Not
this
in this
boot camp.
boot camp. Okay,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I hope there are no doubts. If there is any doubt, guys, we'll take one more minute. Okay, by the way, that doubt that was there in between in one of the code, that you think that, okay, that guy asked me A equal to plus equal to C1. If you think that you can find the answer, that's great. If you don't, let me know in the DM itself. I'm in that C Bootcamp group itself. So we can talk on that and we can, see how that thing works on behind. Like somebody was asking whether it does bitwise operation or not, right?
Sure, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you guys. Then I think there no doubt. Like we can end.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.